We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karne Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stushtovagum Sastanovihi Vishema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no brihaspatirdadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad with Shankaracharya Bashyam, and we are in the seventh mantra, which is the main mantra of Mandukya Upanishad. There are 12 mantras in Mandukya Upanishad. The seventh mantra explains our higher nature. We all know that we have a birth, and then we have a body, we have a mind. This is a common knowledge. This is a common acceptance by all the people. But there is something which is not known by us, which is an immortal being. We ourselves have this nature of pure consciousness. What is this pure consciousness? What is its nature? That is what is being described in this mantra. In the second mantra of this Upanishad, it says, I am Atma Brahma. That means the individual consciousness is the same as the total consciousness. How to understand this statement? First of all, how to understand I am not the body and mind? That is the first step. That is why this mantra starts by saying, I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer, I am not the sleeper. This is what our normal understanding about ourself is. The reason we come to the study of Upanishad is to know what is my real nature. Because the Upanishad has a different vision about me. I have a different vision about myself and others. So, in order to understand this particular nature of ours, which is the spiritual being, we are all human beings, we know that. But we don't know, we are ignorant about our spiritual nature. It is this spiritual nature which is being explained in the seventh mantra. In the ultimate conclusion of Mandukya Upanishad, towards the end of the fourth chapter, Gaudapadacharya, the commentator of this Upanishad, says a very startling, a mind-boggling statement in the 50th verse of the chapter 4. What does he say there? He says, unless there is an observer for this world does not exist. This observer is the consciousness principle. This observer is the consciousness principle. It is Nityaha. Nityaha means it is eternally there. Changelessly it is there. It is not a vastu. It is not material. It is non-material in nature, and it is nityaha sarvagataha. It means it is all pervading. Body is very small, but the spiritual content of the body is always there, and it is all pervading. That is one statement. The second statement is the whole world is born from this consciousness, it rests in this consciousness, and it goes back to this consciousness. This we have seen in Kaivalya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad mantras. So the first step is to understand what is this consciousness, and the second step is to understand how this whole universe is appearing in this consciousness. So this is the goal of Mandukya Upanishad. If I am able to understand these two statements which I have just now made, I am of the nature of consciousness, number one. Number two, this consciousness is the observing principle in this entire universe. Number three, this consciousness principle is eternal. It is always there. So during my grandfather's time, the same consciousness was there, but my great grandfather probably didn't know about this. So if I come to know about this consciousness and I own up this consciousness, I can say I am immortal because this is eternal. And then the Upanishad wants me to understand how this whole universe rests in this consciousness, is born in this consciousness, and it goes back to consciousness. If I can understand this conclusion of Mandukya Upanishad, then that conclusion is called as moksha. I can live with that conclusion for the rest of my life. That is what the Mandukya Upanishad is meant for. All the chapters are only trying to make us understand this truth and also accept this as our nature. These are the two goals of the Upanishad. And it comes out very beautifully in Mandukya Upanishad. When you compare it with other Upanishads like Mundaka Upanishad, uh, Keno Upanishad, we have done Keno, we have done Mundak, Taittiriya Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad. All those Upanishads also reveal the same thing. But here, there is an extra advantage because we are trying to understand this with the commentary of Gaudapadacharya and Shankaracharya, which we don't find for Keno Upanishad or Mundaka Upanishad. That means two commentaries. Very, very powerful Shankara Bhashyam is what we are studying. So with this background, I will go back to where we stopped last week, which is slide number 749. We have to start this topic number 140. Here, Gaudapadacharya is saying and is commenting on one word which is avyavaharyam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam. These are appearing in the seventh mantra. Avyavaharyam is there in the seventh mantra. Achintyam means this consciousness does not come in the vyavahara at all. It is there. In its presence, everything is going on in this world. And achintya means you cannot think about this consciousness because it is the power of this mind, which is this consciousness. It cannot be described by words. Abhyapadesha. Abhyapadesha means we have seen this in Taittiriya Upanishad also. Yato vacho nivartante. That mantra is being repeated here. So what is adrishtam is avyavaharyam. Adrishta means it cannot be seen by our sense organs. It cannot be perceived by the sense organs. These are all the fundamental facts about this consciousness. So whenever we are trying to understand this consciousness, you have to keep these in your background. It cannot be perceived by see some people, they sit in meditation and say, I got this light, that light, and then it's so many experiences in meditation. Here it is very clear. Suppose you see something in meditation, it is not consciousness because it is adrishta. It cannot be objectified at any time by the five sense organs. Five sense organs are designed to see the universe, which is objective. But to see the subject, you require Veda Pramana. With the help of Veda, you can know. This is what is consciousness. So, Adrishta means it is not an object of sense organs. Sarva Jnana Indriya Agochara. In Sanskrit, it means that consciousness does not fall into the purview of our sense organs. Agrahyam. This word also comes in the Upanishad. Agrahya means it cannot be held by the sense organs or by the organs of action. Ataha eva avyavaharyam. So Shankaracharya says, because it cannot be held by the sense organs, it cannot be held by the organs of action, therefore it is not in the field of transactions. Because everything in the field of transactions comes under the five sense organs. It is vyavahara atitam. Atitam means beyond. So Brahman is not available for transactions, but is it useless like a fake 1,000 rupee note, which is invalid? It is not like that. Brahman is still, even though it is avyavaharyam, it is very, very useful because it is in the presence of this consciousness, the entire world comes into being. Here we are not talking of the ahankara, I, the mind which is got the reflected consciousness. We are not talking of that. Here we are talking about Turiyam. Turiyam means the fourth pada. The entire seventh mantra is a description of the fourth pada, which is Turiya pada. Lakshanam generally means Swarupa Lakshanam or Tatastha Lakshanam. Tatastha Lakshanam means indirect Lakshanam, indirect definition. For example, when we say that Brahman is the cause of this world, we try to reveal Brahman through the world. That is Tatastha Lakshanam. What is Swarupa Lakshanam? Swarupa Lakshanam means it is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. It is Turiya. This is all Swarupa Lakshanam. Now here, Lakshanam, which Shankaracharya using, he is using in a slightly different meaning. He says that the lingam, that means the clue to know this Turiyam, is Lakshanam. So what is the clue? It is not in the field of transactions. It is never. That is why we say that it is not a part of the waking state. It is not a part of the dream state. Because in the waking state and dream state, you have all types of transactions. So I can't know Brahman through any specific clue. Therefore, it is called as alingam. Alingam means, lingam means clue. So what is the definition of Brahman or Turiyam? It is alingam. That means there is no clue to enable me to understand this pure consciousness. Why? Because it doesn't fall under the purview of sense organs. So whenever we say it is agocharam, non-perceptible, it means it is aprathyaksham, nanomeyam, alingam. It is not available for sense organs perception, which is aprathyaksham. Anumeyam, na anumeyam. That means it is not even available for inference. Alingam means there is no clue by which I can know this Brahman, this Turiyam. Now, because of these factors, Shankaracharya says, Ataeva achintyam. Achintyam means mentally it is not conceivable. Aprameyatva achintyam. It is not an object. Prameyam means object. Aprameyam means not an object. Because it is not an object, mentally we cannot conceive this pure consciousness. But how do I know this consciousness is there then? It is only by the words of the Shruti we can know and accept it that it exists. Atayeva avyapadeshyam. Avyapadeshyam means it cannot be described by words. We have seen this before also. The conditions to describe this is not available. Therefore, no word can describe this Turiya Atma. That is topic number 140. Now we go to the next topic. The next word which is taken up for commentary is Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. See, these are all the descriptions of Atma. Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. This consciousness is always available, invariably available in all the three states of experiences. See, try to understand this. We are saying consciousness is avyavaharyam. It is not a part of the transactions in the waking, dream, and sleep. Then we say this dream, waking, and sleep is not turiyam. At the same time, we say that it is non-variable. Non-variable means it is there, but it doesn't participate in the transactions. Ekatma pratyaya saram means it has got two interpretations. So what the one interpretation is, Turiyam is only one Atma, Eka Atma. So the focus is on Eka Atma. The second interpretation is Ekaha Atma Pratyaya. That means it is, the focus is on the self-awareness portion, on the Pratyaya portion. Ekaha Atma iti Pratyaya. How should I know this Turiyam? Turiyam should be known as the Atma which is available all the time. Invariable. That is why we call it invariable. That means what? Consciousness is the constant factor The world comes and goes. Now you can differentiate between consciousness and the world. Try. Give it a try. If your mind can, if your intellect can understand this point, it's a very, very important milestone in the understanding of Veda. Let us try to go a little bit deeper to understand what this world we are talking about. In the deep sleep state, we don't experience the world. In the waking state, we experience a gross universe. In both the states, the consciousness is there. So now you can understand the world then. World is nothing but Panchabhutas. Nothing else. It is only five elements. It is matter principle. It is available during one state. It is not available in the other state. But in both the states, there is consciousness. So my focus should be on the consciousness. It should not be on the world. Try to understand this. Try to take your mind. For example, you are seeing a bangle, ring, and chain. You're holding it, you're using it, but your vision is not on the bangle, chain, and the ring. Your vision is on the gold. While seeing this, perception is of ring, chain, and bangle. But your vision can be of gold, which is the material cause of the three instruments, of the three ornaments. Similarly, while perceiving this world, while perceiving the body, we should be able to understand the content of this world, which is consciousness. The content consciousness is avyabhichari swarupa. Avyabhichari means it is unchangeable. It is inherent. Iti pratyaya. Iti pratyaya means it is the jnanam. This is the understanding of the word ekatma pratyaya saram. Consciousness is always available. That is one of the interpretations. In the second interpretation, what do we say? We say that I am the self-awareness principle in all the three states. The focus is on the awareness principle, which is again different than the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. The waker also has awareness, but it is borrowed awareness. Dreamer has awareness, but it is borrowed. But here we are talking about the original consciousness, which is ekaha atma pratyaya. Pratyaya means jnanam, knowledge. Previously we said pratyaya vijnanam, vijnanam, jnanam and vijnanam, which is recognition. I am always this consciousness. I recognize this consciousness now. What is that consciousness? It is awareness principle. That awareness principle never changes. That is the central meaning of this portion 141, topic number 141. Ekatma pratyaya saram. Ekatma pratyaya saram means it is always invariably present. It is the saram. It is the essence of the three states. It is the content. It is the gist. It is the substance. It is the substratum of all the three states. Hence, it is a means for recognizing Turiya. Once I recognize this Turiya, suppose my intellect is able to understand and say, this is what it is. I have to remove the world. World is only Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas are having two conditions, manifest and unmanifest. But I am not the Panchabhutas, I am not the matter principle. I am the observing principle, I am the consciousness principle. Consciousness principle is always there. Matter comes and goes. Therefore, Veda in the fourth chapter, I told you that Shankaracharya concludes the entire teaching by saying, in consciousness, the world comes and goes. See how beautifully this whole seventh mantra can make you understand something which is invisible, something your sense organs cannot perceive, but through the words, Shastric words, which is a pramanam, when I take this torchlight of the Shastric words and throw it on my three states, waking, dream, and sleep, I throw the torchlight on that three states and I say, what is common in all the three states? That common factor is ekatma pratyaya saram. Adhigamaha. Adhigamaha means I recognize it. The moment I recognize it, that becomes my nature. I don't need to do anything else. Because it is self-evident. Swata siddhaha. I have said this in the previous classes also. So the bottom line of this entire Turiyam discussion is that there is a principle, there is something in this world which is called as Turiyam, which is called as awareness, which is always there eternally. In this eternal awareness, the body comes and goes. Many, many bodies have come and gone for the jiva. But the jiva is the first time he is trying to understand his real nature. Normally, we take the pramata, the knower of the world, the knower of this body, knower of this sense organs, as ahamkara, as my nature. That is a mistake. Ahamkara is only a reflected consciousness. Anytime when you see your body means you are in the reflected consciousness mode. But how to take from the reflected conscious node, go back to your original consciousness is by understanding this Turiya Atma. This invariable nature of Turiyam is explained very beautifully in Dakshinamurti Stotram. See, in Dakshinamurti Stotram, all the important aspects of Vedanta are covered. All. If you understand Dakshinamurti Stotram, it's like a PhD in Veda. बाल्यादिषुपि जागृतादिषु तथा सर्वास्तवस्था स्वपि व्यावृत्ता स्वनुवर्तमानम. Vyavritta means in all the times, in my childhood, in my boyhood, in my youth, in my old age, in the waking state, in the dream state, in the deep sleep state, there is one thing which is constantly available to me. Constantly it is there. Even in meditation, when we do, ultimately, where do we reach in meditation? Today also we'll do at the end of the class, we'll do a meditation. Where do we reach? We reach aham. We reach the final I, which is the turiya. Because turiya is ultimately self-evident, and then you just say, oh, this is my atma, and apply the knowledge which you have learned. In this atma only, the whole world is coming and going. And then you live with this knowledge throughout your life. Anuvartamanam means the invariable continuous presence. I. This I doesn't go off even when the whole waking state I is there, which all of us experience. The same I continues in the dream state and in the sleep state also is the revelation of Mandukya. That I is not the waker or the dreamer or the sleeper. It is the Sakshi, it is the Turiyam, Turiya Atma. And when you look at yourself as a Turiya Atma, then what will happen to the body? Body becomes an object of awareness. Of body, sense organs, and the world, all of them become objects. Eka Atma Pratyaya Saram. Very, very important word in this seventh mantra. Okay. From this only we talk about claiming I am Turiyam because it is always there. See, when we are in the waking state and trying to understand our dream state or the sleep state, who illumines the ignorance in the sleep state? It is this Turiya. Who illumines the dream state? What is the light in which I see the entire dream? It is this Turiya. What is the light in which I am seeing this waking state also? It is the Turiya light, the spiritual light. What about the sunlight? The moment you go to sleep, the sunlight is gone. In sleep state, where is the sun? You are fast asleep. For you, the sun doesn't exist. Okay? Yeah, Gopa, I will come back to you at the end of the discussion. So, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad conveys the same idea in the first chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. We have not covered Brihadaranyaka Upanishad so far in the Upanishad sections, but previously in my previous batch of Upanishadic study, we have covered both Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya. So for those who have been studying with me for the last 7, 8 years, 10 years, you will understand these verses because I have taken all the important mantras of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad some time ago. In this first chapter, Purusha Vida Brahmanam, Atma iti upasita. I am this Atma, continuously you meditate. Even when you are playing the roles of a mother, father, you're working, you're at any time, you're doing, always remember the roles are played by the reflected consciousness, the ahamkara, the ego, but I am the invariable consciousness, Turiya Atma. That is what is said in this mantra of Brihadaranyaka. So the roles will come and go. What are the roles? The I has got two factors. One is the consciousness factor, which is the Atma factor. The role is with reference to what object is in front of you. Suppose you're in the office, your office staff is in front of you, you are playing the role of a manager. You are a teacher, you play the role of a teacher. At home, you in front of your children, you play the role of mother or father. The roles are coming and going, the roles are variable. But what is invariable? Invariable is pure consciousness, awareness. All the time when you get up in the morning, when you say, I am aware. What happens in the sleep state? I was aware of what? Of the absence of the world. In the dream state, I was aware of the dream world. So I was aware, I am aware is a continuous phenomena in this world. It is that phenomena which is being revealed by the seventh month. Keno Upanishad, we have studied this. The same thing of the seventh mantra is revealed in Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Pratibodha means before the knowledge of any objective world, this consciousness is always present. That is how Keno Upanishad reveals consciousness. Pratibodha, very important word of Kenopanishad. Turiyam is a very important word. Ekatma pratyasaram. These are all words which we can use to always recognize this Atma. At any time, you can recognize. You see, suppose during this study, you are able to understand the nature of Atma as consciousness, awareness. Then it is only a question of abhyasa. Oh, I am that consciousness. I should not be worried about anything else in the world because the world comes and goes. Don't forget, this is the higher knowledge about my nature. Consciousness, Turiyam, is higher nature. I'm still having the body. I still have the mind. I'm still experiencing the world. But I should be able to drop the world and hold on to that Turiya Atma. Okay. So we have finished Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. Now, the next, what we are going to study in the 142nd month, the topic is Prapancha Upashamam. This is the next word for analysis by Shankaracharya. Prapancha Upashamam. See, all these are all commentaries on one mantra, running into several pages. And then Gaudapadacharya will choose two words out of these and he will write one full chapter on chapter 2 and another chapter, chapter 3. Advaitam is used in chapter 3. Vaitatvam or Mithyatvam is used in chapter 2. Two words are used. Prapancha is a very important word. Let us try to see what does this word mean. Prapancha means what? World. Upashamam means what? Resolution of the world. So the baker's world is an attribute of the baker. It's only the baker who is aware of this world, the waking world. Similarly, only the dreamer, it is an attribute of the dream state. He is aware of the dream world. So the world is a part of the state of the mind. It is not a permanent thing. Try to understand. It is a state of mind at a higher level. You see, now we are not talking of the transaction level. Transaction level, yes, the world is right in front of me. That is fine. But now we are going one step higher. It's taking a helicopter view of what our experiences are. Now, here, Shankaracharya makes an analysis about the attribute and the substance. Attribute can never be separated from a substance. Like, for example, a red lily, a red rose. The redness of the rose cannot be separated. A white lily. So the attribute and the substance can never be separated is what Shankaracharya is trying to explain to us. Until now, various attributes, statuses of Atma have been negated. Why? Because we want to arrive at Turiya. We said you have to drop all the roles. Roles means what? I am a baker is a role. Dreamer is a role. Sleeper is a role of an individual. But he's not the role. The roles are the dharma, the attribute of a particular state of mind. So the roles of Atma is Antaprajnam, Bahishprajnam, uh, Ubhayata Prajnam. Those are all the roles of. Whenever we talk about a role, you must know that role will only come when the mind is active. When the mind is sleeping, there's no role. So, Atma is called as a sthani. Sthani means it is a state, it is a place, it is a locus where all the three states are coming and going. Jagirata sthanam, swapna sthanam, sushipti sthanam. Where is all the three states? What is the locus? Where is all these three states coming and going? It is the Turiya. Consciousness is the locus of the three states, is what Shankaracharya is trying to explain here. Sthana dharma pratisheda kritaha. Attributes of the states have all been negated so far, but what is not negatable is the locus of these attributes. Prapancha upashamam. Upashamam, I told you, means what? Resolution. So, prapancha upashamam means what? It is a word which describes indirectly what is this turiya. Wherever the three states are getting resolved, that is turiyam. The three states are adhyasa. It is superimposed on the substratum, which is consciousness. Now, the prapancha and the avastha, they cannot be separated. They are always together because the moment your mind is active, the prapancha is seen. When the prapancha is seen, the attribute of the prapancha cannot be separated in any avastha. Whether it is dream, whether it is waking, upashamam means it is abhava. Abhava means what? I don't experience the world. The next word in the mantra is Shantam. Here, Shantam means the title of Turiyam. It is the nature of Turiyam. Why is it Shantam? Shantam means peace of mind. This peace it is the nature of Atma because the world is not there. There is nothing which can disturb you. Therefore, it is totally tranquil. See, sometimes we get the Shantam in our sleep also, but that is not the real peace of mind. We can even get peace of mind in our waking state also. When there's nobody around us and I'm sitting in front of an ocean or a beautiful scenery, my mind becomes sharp. Here we are not talking of the Shantam. This is relative peace. Here we are talking about Shantam, which belongs to the Atma. Avikriyam. Avikriyam means it is undisturbed. This Turiyam is undisturbed by anything. Therefore, it is Shivam. Shivam means it is Mangala Swarupam. It is Abheda Swarupam. There is no difference of objects. It doesn't have Swagata Bheda at all. Bheda Adhyasa Rahitam. It doesn't have, see, Turiyam does not have Swagata Bheda. It does not have Sajatiya Bheda, Vijatiya Bheda. These three Bhedas you will only find in transactions, in the Vyavahara. But in Turiya Atma, none of this is there. Therefore, we call it Advaitam. See, all these words you can derive one after the other. If you understand Shantam, you can understand Shiva. If you understand Shivam, then you can understand Advaita. And then the last word, Advaita means what? It is, there is no duality in it. Because there is no duality, there is no fear. Abhayam. It is Mangala Swarupam. Mangala means it's auspicious. Chaturtham iti manyante. Chaturtham means what? Compared to the waking dream and sleep, this Turiyam is called as fourth state. Only in comparison. But because it is invariably present in all the three states and it is eternal, we can say Turiam is the ultimate essence of the entire world. It is not the fourth state. Fourth state is only for junior seekers who are trying to understand this Turiam. But now you are all senior students, you have understood the nature of Turiam. You can easily say it is in this Turiam, all the three other states are coming and going. This is the final thing which the Upanishad wants to reveal. Turiyam is different than the three other padas. What are the other three padas? Waking, dream, and sleep. Compared relative to those three pada, we say it is the fourth. But Saha Atma, this alone is the real Atma. Saha Vigneyaha. These are all the words of the mantra number 7. This Atma is what you should discover in your life. This Atma, which is eternally there, if you can discover this, step number 1, step number 2, hold on to that Atma as me. Many people are able to do the first step, but then they forget what to do with that Atma. You have to say, I am that Atma. I am the Turiyam. I am not the Ahankara. I am not the waker, dreamer, sleeper, Ahankara, the Pramata, the experiencer of the world. I am the Turiyam in which all the worlds are coming and going. In me, there is no world at all. I am Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyante, Saha Atma. So this is the final state which you are expected to arrive whenever you study any Upanishad. Kathopanishad we are doing, we are supposed to arrive at Turiya. And this Turiya Atma we have to understand in 2 words. I have repeated this many, many times. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, we must understand the same Turiya Atma as the Kshetraknya principle revealed in the 13th chapter. And 2 words which I always say you must understand as the nature of Atma is, one is it is different than the three states, than the world. That means it is transcendent. At the same time, it is inherent in this world. I cannot say that, see, why do we say this Atma is Nithyam? Because it is inherently present in all the states and it is also transcendent. Whenever you say the body is there and going through experiences, Atma is there. Suppose body dies. Does the Atma die? No. Mind itself doesn't die. Forget about Atma. Mind itself doesn't die when the body dies. So this Atma is a constant factor, eternal factor, in which the time principle comes and goes, in which the space is born. Can you see how deep our Veda wants us to go and then hold on to this truth? Okay, so this is how we have to understand the 7th mantra. Sa Atma, sa Vigne iti. I must realize this Atma in this way. So how is this Atma described in Brihadaneka Upanishad? Shankaracharya quotes this 2 mantras, one from chapter 3, another from chapter 4 of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Adrishto drishtaha. I will give you, there are many mantras we are going to see of how Atma is being revealed by other Upanishads. We'll start now with this mantra, which is in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Shankaracharya, now he is telling us it is the same Turiya Atma which is inherent in all the three states, which we are calling it as Turiyam here. It is the same thing which is described here in the seventh mantra as na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, and all that. It is the same which is revealed in Chandogya Upanishad, Tattvamasi. In Chandogya Upanishad, Guru takes 9 examples to show the nature of Atma. Atma, this is the Atma which you wanted to know. Tattvamasi, you are that Atma. You are that Atma. That means what? You are that invariable Atma, which is a seeming cause for this world. It is not an actual cause. It is a seeming cause. Because without the world also Atma exists. Chandogya Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says it is the witness consciousness. Adrishta drishtaha. This witnesshood of the consciousness never ends. Very important mantra to show the Nityatva, the eternality of Atma. When I show you the mantras, you can go through those mantras, you can read the mantras, contemplate on those mantras. I've got all these mantras coming up now. So the seventh mantra is the Turiya Atma, which is revealed as different from the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. Dreamer, waker, and sleeper are the knower hoods. I know the waking world, that is the waker. I know the dream world, that is the dreamer. I know the sleep ignorance, that is the sleep. So I drop the knower hood and then I look at myself as the sakshi of this knowing principle, which is the mind. Pramatru means the knower. The knower has got 3 roles: waker, dreamer, sleeper. But Turiam is not the knower. Turiam, in its presence, the knowing happens. Agrahyam to Abhyapadeshyam shows that Atma is not an object of any pramanam. Therefore, object of any pramanam means what? It is not a prameyam. It is not an object at all. Therefore, it is alakshanam. Therefore, there is no, you cannot have any inference to show that this is Atma. You cannot use inference as a pramanam. You can only use Shastra as the pramanam. Avyapadeshyam means Shabda Pramana Gochara. We have already seen all this. I'm just telling you that this Turiya Atma is not the knower, the subject. It is not the object. And it is different than the subject and object. That is why we say it is Prapancha Upasham. Turiyam is Satyam. If Turiyam is Satyam, what is Mithya? Mithya is the knower. It is the waker, dreamer, sleeper. It's Mithya. Mithya means what? It appears, disappears. That it doesn't have its own existence. Turiyam is Vilakshanam, it is Rahitam, Adhisthana Bhutam. These are 3 Sanskrit words to tell us that it is Pramatru Vilakshanam, Prameya Vilakshanam. It is pramatru prameya rahitam. Pramatru means what? Subject, object, rahitam. Rahitam is in which there is no subject and object. Subject and object is present in which states? Waking state, dream state, and the sleep state. Because there also there is a sleeper is there. The sleeper is saying, I don't experience any world. We have to recognize this turiyam without making it as a prameyam. Don't ever make Atma as an object of experience. It is always the Sakshi principle, which is beyond the Ahankara. Ekatma Pratyasaram is an indirect clue. Where do all this world resolve? That is what is the that is what is called as Atma. So Shantam, Shivam, Advayam, Chaturtam Manyante, these are all positive words. Before that, what did we say? Neti. We said not waker, not the dreamer, not the sleeper. So Upanishad uses both the methodology of neti-neti and also describes the positive nature of Atma, which is Shantam, Shivam, Advayam. In Advaitam, there is no fourth. It is only one Atma. It is non-dual in nature. This aspect, we will study this in the third chapter of the Mandukya Upanishad. There we will see in a very, very detailed fashion. Sa Atma, sa Vigneya. Like you understand the rope, to get rid of the rope snake, you understand rope. Similarly, you have to understand the Thuriyam in order to drop your impression about the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. Waker, dreamer, sleeper is like the rope snake. Rope is like the Thuriyam. That Thuriyam is like the rope. Understand the Thuriyam. What type of Thuriyam it is? It is that Atma which is revealed by the Mahavakyam, which is the second mantra, I am Atma, Brahma. It is also revealed in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is always also revealed in Chandogya Upanishad as Bhuma. In Bhagavad Gita, is revealed as Uttama Purushaha. In Keno Upanishad, it is revealed as Pratibodhaha. Kaivalya Upanishad, it says that it is in which the world comes, rests and goes. Kathopanishad, which we were studying yesterday, Anyatra Dharma, Anyatra Dharma. And then in Kathopanishad, there's another mantra which is very famous, also which comes in Mundaka Upanishad, Natatra Suryo Bhati. Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmandavalli, it says Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. Aitareya Upanishad, it says Prajnanam Brahma. So this is what, these are all compiled by me. Shankaracharya gives one or two. I have put together the entire buffet of all the mantras which talk about Atma, Atma, Atma. All the mantras are given in the following slides, one by one, one by one. About 8 or 10 mantras are given for you to read this mantra, understand these mantras slowly. These are the mantras which reveal the ultimate truth. Whatever we have studied as Suriyam is also there in other Upanishads. It is also the same. The same is revealed in Kathopanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now let us just study these few mantras before we close today. He who inhibits the organ of generation, but the organ of generation does not know, but who controls that organ of generation, that internal ruler is Atma. Very beautiful mantra. It takes time to understand these mantras. In everything you see and experience in the world, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in this third chapter, there is a series of mantra in that chapter. You see the Prithvi, but you don't see the controller of that Prithvi, which is the Devata principle, and the controller of the Devata is your Atma. Very difficult to believe and understand all this unless and until the mind is purified. It will then only accept this as the truth of the universe. What this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says in a series of mantras, here is only one mantra, but it says that ultimately Atma is the self of the entire universe. And it is, universe has been coming and it has been existing for time immemorial. Same thing, Atma also. Whenever you see the world, there is Atma behind it. That is the way, that is the vision you should develop. You don't need to go to a samadhi state to understand Atma if you come to Vedanta. When you come to Vedanta, these are the mantras which tells you anytime you are experiencing the universe, you are experiencing the body, it is because Turiya Atma is the substratum, it is the observer. Ultimate observer is this consciousness. Kenopanishad, I told you, Pratibodha Viditam Mata, Amritatvam hi Bindate. Amritatvam. Amritatvam means immortality. How do you know this immortality? How to hold on to this immortality? By knowing I am the Chaitanya principle. I am immortal as Chaitanyam, as Turiyam. Kaivalya Upanishad, the 19th mantra, is the very famous mantra. Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. I quote this many, many times. So all of you are very familiar with this mantra. Kathopanishad, we did this only yesterday. Anyatra dharma, anyatra dharma, anyatra bhuta chabhavyata yat shati. Lord Yama, Nachiketa is telling Lord Yama, whatever you see as that, you please tell me. Because you are the one who controls death. After the body drops, what is there? This consciousness is there, is what a lot of death is experience is telling Nachiketa. The whole Kathopanishad is talking about the same Turiyam. Turiyam never dies. It is always there. So when the body dies, what do we experience? It is the same Turiyam which we experience in our sleep state every day. If you know that that is there, then you don't have to wait for death and you don't have to wait for the next birth and all that, because that is your ultimate nature. Very, very strong mantra is this Kathopanishad mantra. This mantra, Natatra Suryo Bhati, it tells us the nature of this Turiya as consciousness, as the light in which the whole world is experienced. There is no other mantra which is so powerful as this Kathopanishad and Mundaka Upanishad, and the same mantra comes in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmavida apnoti, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. This mantra, what is the nature of Atma? Satyam. It is always there. Jnanam, consciousness, nature of consciousness. Anantam, it is beyond time. Whatever Kathopanishad was saying, what is timeless? The same thing here in Taittiriya Upanishad. Anantam, this another word is used. Taittiriya Upanishad. What is that? Which is the substratum of the five elements itself. The five elements are constituting the entire world. And then in this world, there are different creatures which are born either from the seed or from the egg or from the womb or from the sweat or from earth. These are the only ways creatures are born. And all the creatures and the universe have got only one guiding principle, one controller. What is that controller? Prajnanam Brahma. That controller is called as consciousness, and that consciousness is Brahman. Individually, we call it as Atma, the self of the creature, the self of the universe. So beautiful explanation. When you see, when you try to reflect on all these mantras, then this Atma principle becomes very, very evident to us. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, fourth chapter is Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. First, the third chapter, here we have seen this third chapter mantra before also. There is only one witness for all the three states. There is only witness, only one internal ruler. That ruler, it does not see. You see, Atma does not see directly. It is only the matter which comes and gives, which matter is Prakriti. So, entire transactions happen in Prakriti. In the sleep state, this consciousness is there, but it doesn't see anything because what? There is nothing to see in that state. Even when there is nothing to see, consciousness is present. And that is what I take it as the immortal self. Uttama Purusha Swanyaha, Paramatmetu Dasrutaha, Yo Lokamatramay Vishayaha, Vibhartavya Ishvara, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Uttama Purusha. You see, Prakriti is said as one Purusha. Prakriti is lower order. Higher order is Uttama Purusha. Indestructible. Indestructible is the same as Turiya Atma. So there are two experiencers. One is called as the ego mind, which is a changing seer. Another is the changeless seer. What we are trying to reveal here is the changeless seer, which is the Turiya Atma. The changing seer of the world is the ego, the waker, the dreamer, the sleeper. They are changing because they are relative. So ultimately, our focus should be on the Swarupam, which is Nitya Swarupa Atma, not the changing relative waker, dreamer, sleeper. The waker experiences the world. That is the experiencer with reference to the mind and the sense organ. But what is behind the mind, what sees the mind is the Swarupa. Now, how to get this Atma Anubhava, how to experience the Atma is the question which we have to study. Now, what we say is experience of Atma is not possible, but knowledge is possible of Atma. When I have the knowledge of Turiya Atma as the permanent awareness principle behind the knower Pramata, the knower Ahamkara, then I know what is this Turiya Atma. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this Turiya Atma is described in these three verses. I've just told you, Viparilopaha means it is never, this witnesshood of Atma is never lost. 4.3.30, the verse is below here. I've just described this before, but I've just summarized it here. Swayam Jyoti means it is self-evident. Adrishto drishta. Then this is the 3723 mantra, which says it is, you can never know that Atma because it is the seer of that knower. It is the sakshi of that knowing principle. And then in the fourth chapter, this particular mantra comes. I have put it here. Okay. So all these mantras are trying to describe what is this nature of Atma. When the knowerhood of the knowerhood of the sense organs and the mind, when it stops, what continues is the consciousness. And that is what you say is my the changeless nature in me. See, all of us, we this anubhava is there. In my body mind complex, there is something which is changeless. Upanishad, the study of Upanishad reveals what is this changeless nature. It is this consciousness which is turiya. Jnani, when he sleeps, he will say, I am awake during the sleep of the mind. Mind is my lower nature. I am awake means what? I am the Sakshi Turiyam. That Sakshi Turiyam's nature of knowing that there is no other world except me is called as Turiyam. That is what is called as Swarupa Jnana. What will the Ajnani say? Ajnani will say, I went to sleep. And then I had no knowledge of even the Veda. Nothing was there. That's all. But he will not know the Sakshi principle. He will not know the Turiyam principle. Turiyam is different than the Pramata and Prameyam. It can never be known. Saha Atma, Sa Vigneya. It should be known by the study of Upanishad. During the Adhyaropa, the first stage, for a junior student, we say Turyam is not the Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. Okay. And then for the senior student, see, there are two steps. One is Adhyaropa, that is verse number 1 to 6. Then when you do the Apavada means you negate all the three states. That is what is taught in the seventh mantra. The seventh mantra is taught to a senior student. Okay, so with this, I will stop here. Next week, we'll continue with this slide number 715. I think there are only few slides left. Okay, let me see if I can complete this within 5 minutes. I may take extra 5 minutes today, but let me finish this portion. During the Adhyaropa Kala, for a junior student, we only do the waking, dream, and sleep state as a superimposition. We say there is a consciousness. In that consciousness, waking comes, a dream comes, sleep. In Apavada, what do we do? In Apavada means when we negate the world, that is called as Apavada. I and Turiyam have got a Sambandha. It is Abheda Sambandha. Abheda Sambandha means what? I am the Turiya Atma. I and Turiyam are two words, but reality is only one. Aham. When you say Aham and Turiyam, so I'm using two words, Sanskrit words. But Aham and Turiyam are only two words, but they are describing the same art. Vedanta looks at Ajnani as a waker, dreamer, sleeper. And Vedanta looks at Jnani as a Turiya Jnani. That means who knows what is Turiya. This is the full meaning of the seventh mantra. What is it, which we have studied? Now, the main teaching of this Upanishad, in the first two verses, we only saw the introduction of what is Om, and the Mahavakya comes in the second verse. Then we have Atma Vichara in verse number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which we have completed now. Chaturmatra Omkara Vishya will start after the seventh mantra in the main Upanishad, which is Omkara Vishya is the next section in the Upanishad. But before that, Gaudapadacharya writes 9 karikas, 9 commentaries on verse number 7. That is what we are going to study next. After these 9 verses, we will go back to this Omkara Vichara, which is the Upanishadic mantra 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have already studied 9 karikas for the verses 1 to 6. Okay, so this is where I stop today. I'll be taking up the next volume, number 6, for the Karika number 10 to 18. So not volume 6, volume number 5. I have finished volume 4 of the notes. Volume 5 of the notes, I will start next week. Okay. So here we are going to start with the commentary of the 7th mantra. The 7th mantra is an important mantra. Gaudapadacharya writes 9 verses to analyze the 7th mantra. Okay, so that is our subject for discussion. Now, next week, I will have a break. I have some prayers at home. Next week, today is the 7th, 14th of July, there will be no class. So please make a note of it. We will resume this Mandukya Upanishad on the 21st. So next week, there's no class. I will also inform you in the WhatsApp group. And the 21st of July, we will start the Karika number 10. Another beautiful section comes of analysis of the 7th mantra. Because the 7th mantra is the gist of the whole Upanishad. Okay. So with this, I will stop today's discussion on Mandukya Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'll go through the chat box first. Okay. Tapan Kumar has said there's some page number. I have noticed the change also. Shanmugam will change the page numbers in the he will change the page number in the notes. There's been a slight error in the page numbers, but it's okay. It's a point. Thank you very much, Tapan. There are no other points in the chat box. Okay. Anybody else has any other question?
This is Nandu this side.
Yeah, Nandu, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Nandu.
I think the Achintya word come, and I believe this is something similar in the one of the 8th chapter shloka or Bhagavad Gita, Achintya Rupam. So
Yes.
meaning I believe it's something like same.
Correct.
Yeah, Achintya Rupam. And in Gita, the Rupa word is come because unless and until the Rupa is there, you cannot think about it. You cannot do the Chintana or something.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. See, what Bhagavad Gita says is, and the same thing is mentioned here also, is Achintya Rupam. Achintya Rupam means, now Chintyam is always connected with Rupa. Chintriyam means my mind is able to think of some object in the world when that object has a form or an attribute. For example, I can think about different sounds. I can think about different forms. Now, these are possible to be thought about. But Atma is formless. It is invisible. So, achintya means your mind cannot think of Atma as an object, but mind should be able to think about Atma as a subject. When you think about Atma as the subject, think means what? You are saying, you are claiming it. So, all this seventh mantra, what happens is Shantam, Shivam, Advayam. These words are not talking about any object in creation. It is talking about the subject. It is subject means I am of this nature of Shantam. Atma is ever Shantam. It is peaceful. So, this is only possible when your mind has been able to drop the body. The gross body, you should forget about it. And then you hold on to the content of this body, which is Atma, which is Turiya. That Turiya is unthinkable. You cannot say, I'm going to think about my Atma for the next 20 minutes. No, you can only think in terms of the words of the Upanishad, which reveal this Atma. So, Achintyam is a word which is generally used so that you don't try to objectify Atma, like you objectify the different objects of the world. So, from that viewpoint, we must use the word Achintya. So, Nandu, is it clear?
Yep. Thank you, sir. And one more word, it's like in continuation about the Shivam word. I believe there is not much commentary, or maybe it is going to upcoming.
Correct.
Maybe
It will come in the future, but there's not much commentary on the word. You are right. There is not much commentary on Shantam, Shivam, Advaita. Advaitam, there is a big commentary in the third chapter. See, Shiva means it is auspicious.
Auspicious.
Auspicious nature of Atma because it is divine. You see, for example, you see the world, and then you are in the world, you find that the world itself disappears in the sleep state. Can you imagine something which is changeless, which is consciousness, which is always there, which is which is the which is something which is revealed by the Upanishad. See, this Turiyam is nothing but it is the description of God in a formless nature. In Nirguna form, it is called as Turiyam. The same Turiyam in the Saguna form, it is called as Ishvara. And Ishvara is nothing but the entire universe. So whenever you see the Saguna part, you are saying that it is Saguna Ishvara. Like the 10th chapter, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, the whole world is me only. But who is saying this? It is this pure Turiyam, pure Atma, which is saying, I am appearing as this world. That means what? It is Advaitam in nature. It is non-dual in nature. So this aspect of Advaitam, this aspect of non-duality, you should keep at the back of your mind. In Bhagavad Gita, in Upanishad, whenever we are discussing this Atma, different words are used to indicate the same entity. Okay? So, Nandu, is it clear?
Yeah, and I think the Shivam word, maybe we can correlate with the Nirvana Shatakam, the last one, which is coming as a Chidananda Rupa Shivoham.
Very good. That's a good connection. Excellent. That's a good connection. The same Shivam is used in Nirvana Shatkam mantra. Same Shivam. See, one thing you should understand, this Shivam, auspicious, and also this word Shantam. This Shantam is the peace of Atma. It is the Shantam of Atma. It is a absolute peace. It is not relative peace. So this auspicious nature, which is Shivam, is talking about that absolute nature of Atma. It is the same which you find in Nirvana Shatkam. These are words which are used to take our mind towards that pure Atma. That's all. Whenever you tell yourself in your own mind, you say, this Atma is Shivam. That is how you start. Then later on, you should say, I am that Shivam. I am that Shanta. I means that you are referring to yourself, the Turiya Atma. Initially, when we study the Upanishad, we will say, yes, there is a Turiya Atma. But that is not aparoksha jnana. It is a paroksha jnana. Suppose you say, yes, there is an Atma, but I have not realized it. The moment you say, I am that Turiyam, means you have started going in the right direction to claim that Swarupam as my Swarup. Ultimately, unless and until you say, I am that consciousness in which this whole universe is coming and going, unless that Mayeva Sakalam Jatam of Kaivalya Upanishad or this Pratibodha Viditam of Keno Upanishad or na tatra surya bhati na chandra tarakam, those mantras should really be a revealing mantra for you. What do they reveal? It reveals my swarupa. If those mantras can be used to understand my nature, like today I pointed out 7 or 8 mantras towards the end of this section today. In the Brahma Sutra also, Shankaracharya, when he writes the commentary about the first 4 sutras of Brahma Sutra, he brings about 20 different mantras talking about Atma. In my notes of Brahma Sutra, you will find those mantras. So it helps a lot when you study at one time all the mantras connected with Atma. Try to do it yourself also. Take out all the mantras of different Upanishads and try to contemplate on those, because that is what will take you towards the goal of realizing the self. There is one compilation which I had done long time ago, about 15 years ago, about all the mantras of the Upanishads, which are important mantras. It is there in the website. If somebody is interested, just let me know. I will send you that notes. It is Upanishadic highlights. That section you will find it. Swami Brahmananda of Chinmaya Mission has sung several mantras connected with the Atma. Very beautifully, he has sung about the content of Atma. From different Upanishads, he has taken and he has sung. Very beautiful verses are there. Okay, so Nandu, good. I'm glad you brought it up and you're able to connect. I'm very, very happy to see that. So I saw okay. Gopa Mitra, in case you're around and you still want to ask a question, anytime you can unmute yourself and ask him. Okay, there is one more remark here from Shama.
Sorry, Shekharji, it's a bit convoluted. And basically, there are 2 separate questions.
Okay, go ahead, explain to me.
Yeah, and one is that, regarding the Shastra Jnanam or the Atma Jnanam, some doubts remain. Does the Atma Jnanam, does it make me a better person, more efficient to navigate my normal routine transactional life is one. Second part of this
So let
is,
me answer that first. Yes,
okay,
Atma
okay,
Jnanam is very, very important to navigate through life.
okay. So
See,
I take
yeah. So
I take your word. Yeah.
always Shankaracharya says, make your life practical Vedanta. That means you use the whatever lessons you're using, you're
Mm-hmm.
studying Vedanta. Suppose you study in Turiya Atma, that this is the nature of Atma.
Okay.
Ultimately, I must be able to use that knowledge and say that if I am that Atma, then I should not be worried about anything in life.
Okay.
Nothing in
So
life,
that I accept. I take
yes.
it. I take your word for it. Then second part is, am I right in understanding that the Atma Jnanam as to how we gravitate, the intensity to which we gravitate is based on the push and pull phenomena, which is really there for all motivation, there is something that I don't like of the, at the present moment, so it is pushing me, which, like, even in the case of Buddha, it was the suffering, that intense suffering which he actually saw, despite there was no suffering directly to him, but when he saw the old man, the diseased man, and the death, those three things just made him, you know it actually must have caused him very intense suffering to see, is this what life is? And he went away to find the answers. So that is what I'm assuming is there has to be a certain degree of something that we are not happy about our present day life. So there is a push from this present. The other is the future. Like, this is really why I think I am so engaged in this Atma Jnanam or Vedanta, this thing, because I am being pulled towards a knowledge that will take me into future. Yeah. So the pull phenomena. So what I wanted to know is would this be true to assume that it is much more of the push, and there is also the force of attraction, the puller of the knowledge of the Atman? Does the Atman itself actually, I know it does it pull us towards
Oh,
itself?
yes. Oh, yes.
This
See,
is what
in
I'm
one of the
asking.
Upanishad,
Yeah.
Shankaracharya says
Mm.
that Atma should choose you. It's
Yes,
not
this is
that
what I'm
you choose
asking.
Atma, but
Yeah.
Atma should also choose you to reveal itself.
But
You
when
have
you look
chosen.
at the Swarupa of the Atma, which you are
Yes.
describing, in the seventh mantra, then I'm thinking, but the Atma doesn't care. I mean, it is, literally cannot be bothered about whether, you are in a happy place or not happy place. Is it pulling me or not, is what I'm asking. So this is why the question came up to me, because I was listening to your description of um, the Atman, So I was thinking, what is it? Is it pulling me or is it not pulling me?
See, one thing you must understand,
Mm.
our whole life is based on Punya Papa,
Yeah,
Karana Sharira.
yeah.
Okay? So it is this Karana Shariram which is controlling my mind.
Mm-hmm.
See, the mind keeps on traveling. It is evolving. It
Mm-hmm.
is evolving to understand its own nature as Atma.
It naturally will do so.
It is evolving. Now, in
Mm.
this process of evolution, that's what Swami Chinmayananda says, that it is a process of evolution of the mind. Ultimately, you realize this self. Now, in this process, what happens is the punya papam is the main factor which results in this atmajnana. If you go by the shastric logic,
Mm.
you have got the punyam to listen to the scriptures, listen to Mandukya Upanishad today. You have the punyam. There is, you see, this punya papam is invisible. It is adrishtam. what makes you come, and what you are asking me, what is the pull factor of that,
Yeah,
by
yeah,
which you get pulled to this knowledge?
yeah.
See, the how we enter in, how we come to this knowledge, nobody knows. It is some mystery. See,
Yeah, this is curious. I just suddenly felt, what
yeah,
is
it's
it that I am not able to resist it? Because I've
correct.
tried many times to actually say, no, I can't be bothered, you know?
Yes,
And
that, so there is a pull factor, which pushes you to trying to understand, go deeper, go deeper.
there is a
And
choicelessness in
it
it.
is only the Upanishad will give you this answer finally.
Okay.
And
So I take this.
take it from me that once you do this Mandukya thoroughly,
Yeah.
just go through the notes properly, go through these mantras, try to get, because there is the full answer is there in Mandukya.
Okay, thank you.
All the
And then
doubts,
the last one,
yeah,
the last bit of the doubt is really terrible. It's very, very bad. And I apologize to you because it's suddenly I'm feeling very much like the Charavaka, the materialist,
yeah,
really, really proper materialist. And I'm thinking, why a very wise, rational, mature person who is a happy person as well, is a devoted, good, moral person doing a lot of good work, uh, not in the correct path, who is not seeking moksha, definitely not. But to my mind, the person, when I see the manifest form, looks very much more spiritual. I'm talking about my own sister, actually.
yeah.
She is in US. She's a very, very devout, total scientist. She's a very humble person who is so devoted to the cause of the earth and whatnot. So she's doing a lot of very, very good work. But obviously she's openly and an agnostic. She doesn't criticize me for anything because she knows my interests, and she calls me a soul scholar. She says, you're a scholar of the soul. So that's really where our meeting point. She calls me a scholar of the soul, which I
Yeah.
quite like it. But what I'm saying is, isn't she on a better path and I go through this ups and downs about this question and that question. So this is really like a very Charvaka question,
Okay.
a total
The
materialist question.
answer to this question again is prarabdha karma.
Oh, I see. I can't help it.
You can't help it. It is her karma. That's all. It is her karma palam. She is doing her, whatever she is doing in the US, of maybe doing a lot of good work in the US. That's her
Yes.
karma phalam. See,
God.
what we are, whenever we try to analyze about our experiences in life and analyze another person, always use the karma theory.
Acha.
Always use the law of karma and say, this is what the world is. Whenever we are trying to analyze the world, use the law of karma to say, this is what the karma theory says.
And so this karma theory determines what a particular person's swadharma is in this present life. Is that
Correct.
correct?
That's right. And also the next life. It is, see, your current life will decide your next life.
So our
Like,
individual dharmas, individual sarupa dharma, swadharma is determined by what I've done in my past life.
correct. That's it. See,
And
in the
then I
same
cannot
family,
change
there
it.
could be
And I
four
cannot change
brothers. Yes, like you're talking about your sister, there could be four sisters who are following four different paths. But that is, your siblings are not decided by you, but it is decided by the law of karma. You
Yeah,
see,
it's a
it is
very curious,
always,
very curious, very curious. We have five brothers, sisters, and all five of us, we have a different kind of a search, all very devoted, all very dedicated to whatever we are doing. But from complete agnostic atheist to somebody like me, I can't just help who I am. But often I'm just compelled to think about them, that are they more right than I,
no,
or
no. You stop thinking of those. I think this way of comparison between two individuals is not correct, in the sense that he follows his dharma I follow my dharma. That's all.
So, and today you are very categorically stating that all of this is determined by our prarabdha.
Exactly. This is what the scriptures are saying. Scriptures say very clearly in Veda Purva Bhaga that there is a law of universe which cannot be negotiated by anybody. It is there. That law, for example, the sun rises every day, the sun sets every day. It's a law. Similarly, an individual jiva, what he will do in his life tomorrow is determined by the law of karma.
Okay.
It is determined. So whenever you try to analyze this world, use the law of karma. Whenever you want to get out of this world, you see, suppose you are tired of this world and you want to know what is life all about. Then you come to Vedanta, and the Vedanta will teach you that your real nature is not this body. Because anytime you're analyzing the other person, you're analyzing with reference to the body and mind.
Shekharji, I've just noticed Bharat's message and I realized he had probably read my message too fast and he's already responded. He's saying exactly the same thing in his message, is
Yeah,
that Gita chapter 2 verse 30 says that we have swabhava, our prarabdha karma and station in life by knowing our sarupa dharma. So
yeah,
cute.
very
Thank
good.
you, Bharat. Thank you. You're saying exactly what Shekharji is saying.
Good.
Um, I
Thank you.
just wanted to say,
Yeah, please say.
Shoma,
Yeah.
Shoma Ben, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, but just even if you, dare I say, forgive me, Shakaji, but if you just go by the materialist, realist point of view,
Uh-huh.
your mind can only cognize the sense impressions given to it. You have
Yeah.
no idea what your brothers and sisters or anyone are going through. All you have is your perceptions and judgments of them. There is no way you can ever know. Neuroscience tells you that.
I mean, we
So
are very close. I must say that we are very closely
it
connected,
it
so
it
we're
it,
not,
it
we
doesn't
are
matter.
closely connected. Yeah, sorry.
It doesn't matter. They can't tell what's in your mind, and you can't really tell what's in
I,
their mind. All you can do is judge their actions, and
yeah.
even that is fruitless. So the best thing you can do, as Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, follow
Yeah.
your own path badly. Don't try and emulate anyone else's path.
Wonderful. Very well said, Bharat. I feel really grateful and really appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Bless you.
But Shama, whenever you come across these questions, it also opens up a lot of doors for discussions, and it clarifies a lot of point for everybody. You see, your question is the same, which I'm sure everybody who is around here will be asking. Why my brother is like this? Why my sister is like this? Why my father doesn't come to Bhagavad Gita
No,
classes?
I've always this thing that I've always had this little doubt, where I am seeking because of purely of how I've experienced life, not necessarily because of my. So this is why, that my individual experience of life is certainly very different from my brothers and sisters, and which means I have been able to feel a lot more suffering than they feel, whether it's my own suffering or suffering of the others. And that has made me question so much. So I feel maybe it is only because I have experienced suffering, therefore I am here. Otherwise, maybe I might not have, So this is why all that question started, whether it is suffering alone or there is our own Swarupa is actually drawing us to say, please, please, enough is enough. Look at me, I'm waiting for you. As you said, Atman itself will choose you.
Correct.
Shekharji, you said? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's what the Kathopanishad says. Atma has to choose you, and then it has to
Wow.
reveal you, because it is not
I,
one way effort. You
yeah,
can put your effort, but there is a principle where you don't know what it is. You see,
I love
what
that.
you cannot experience doesn't mean it is non-existent. There is
Yeah,
something, a higher power, which exists, which controls your mind, which controls your body, it controls your thoughts.
yeah,
So
absolutely. Thank you
let's
so, so much.
let's surrender to that higher principle and say, "Oh Lord, you take care of my life. let me do my best to understand the Upanishads.
I was afraid of talking like a materialist, but then I said, no, I better say rather than just keep it to myself. So thank you so much, Shekharji, for
Thank
having
you.
that
Thank you, Sharma.
gracious understanding. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Uh,
Yeah,
Sh-
Venkatesh,
Sh-
you
Sh-
comment on that?
Shekhar yeah. I just would like to add, I just thought I'll be quiet, but whenever Shama says something, we need to add to that. No, I just want to share one wonderful experience which I had yesterday. I am now in Houston. I went to NASA. So while going through this NASA, it's a mere coincidence that there was a one astronaut. They said meet astronaut. There was a small session actually, and fortunately we could able to get into that. And he shared his own experience. You know, when he entered into the space, what happened, how things and all that is a very unique experience. It's like a lifetime scenario which I really undergone. I was really being exposed to a lot of this spiritual talk and all when I heard him going into the space and all. So the question what he was asked is what he felt when he went into the space. And the name of this astronaut is Rick Ham. And he was on 3 missions. He went on to the space. Very unique experience he had. STS-39, STS-49, and STS-65. So these are the 3 missions where he went into the space. So some of the things what he shared, I just thought relevant to, you said this pulling and all these things and all. Yeah. So very unique actually, like Shekharji, what we are talking spirituality and all. When he went into the space, what happened? He was just saying, people when they asked, are you an optimist or a pessimist to be an astronaut? So then he said, every astronaut is an optimist because he has to come back to the earth, isn't it? So he should have that hope. But he says he has to do everything against the pessimism because that should not happen, this should not happen, that should not happen. So the whole preparation is conquering that pessimism actually, which is coming right into his mind. So what to get into the spacewalk, it says everybody going into the space, they don't go into the spacewalk. Out of 10 people, maybe 2 or 3 only do go into the spacewalk. So for that spacewalk, they were put into a small capsule for years, it seems. Some maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And something they just found out, so that you feel as if you're totally separate from the body, detachment from the body. So he was not knowing why such a stern abhyasa they had to do when they are on the earth. But when he entered over there, he realized that as if everything is disconnected from the body. You are nothing. See, you are already in the space. That means there is no earth over there. There is the water. Water is totally different over there, and the air is different. Actually, when they just come out, though the temperatures are very less, but what happens is the body temperature it rises actually because there is no blood circulation and all that. So everything happening is totally different, and you feel as if you're totally disconnected from the body. So because of the gravitational force is totally different when you are in the space. So all these gravitational forces and all whatever is happening, it is only when you are there on this earth actually. But when you are there in the space, what you were just saying, you are totally different. And when he landed back into the earth, he forgot how to take a turn actually. He was saying, for a moment, the mind is also totally disconnected. He says, it's a very unique experience and it cannot be put into words and all. And after being there for some time with some of the relations and the surrounding environment and all, he could get back into the situation. So it's a very unique, like what we are having in the spiritual talk. and
Yes.
he put that into his own experience and all. And the water what they use is different actually. Everything is totally dehydrated, but still they had to hydrate their body. So they use very unique things and all. But one important thing, what I just would like to say is another thing what he has added. They have taken, see, in the space also, they grow some of these vegetables and all just to see what is the difference from things what they grow there in the space and when it is on the earth. The green pepper, the seed what they have taken out there and they put it into the space, and when it allowed to take that growth and all, and the green pepper what has grown in the space and what is grown on the earth, there is no difference it seems.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's exactly same, the whole thing. I have taken one of the picture when they come downside, there was some presentation they had done to show that the green earth, and same thing what he has said, which is very, very unique actually. So the whole thing is a body and mind, what we really talking about this entire spirituality. When the people who has really gone to the space, that experience
Yeah.
what he was sharing with us
It's
actually
the
is very
same.
unique actually. And he
It's the
also
same.
told one important thing, why he
Mm.
was selected among so many people. He says he doesn't know. That's a
Prarabdha
very,
karma.
that is the
Prarabdha. Yeah.
prarabdha. And people asked him, do you want it to be an astronaut? What has made you to get into this? He said, no, I never wanted to be an astronaut, because I just thought this is something, uh, going into the space and totally disconnected from this charming world and all. Why should I do that? Actually, that's the nature what he had. But he happened to get a job in NASA. Then he thought working somewhere else in some petrol bunks and all. Why don't I work there and all? And that's how the whole thing got him, and he has been selected, and he just went on. Went on. Very unique experience actually. I mean, I was really amazed. So thankful. I just thought to share actually.
Thank you,
Thank you
Venkatesh.
so
So,
I
much.
think,
Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
it is
You've
good.
proven the point. There is a prarabdha.
Yes,
there
that's correct.
there is a prarabdha, and it's an evolution of the mind. Like Shekaji's standard word is that evolution of the mind. That's, but one important thing I just want to add is that abhyasa makes a real difference actually. So the
ये दूसरा
continuous
बात बोल दिया. दूसरा बात बोल दिया. Second thing for those people
yeah,
who understand Hindi. Yeah. So second very important. Abhyasa.
second abhyasa is very, very important, and that will drive you towards that point.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you. Ramchandra, you've been waiting for a long, long time. Shanta, I'll come to you after Ramchandra. Go ahead, Rama.
Namaste, sir. Yeah, nothing much. So I just wanted to thank you because I'm enjoying these sessions a lot. And I have also conceptually understood that there is only one thing which is eternal, and we are all nothing but the expressions of that Turiya. And so to reach our highest blissful state, so we have to just reach there. I don't know when we'll reach it, but yeah, I also understood conceptually that so the mind is the key, right? So the mind we have to dissolve slowly, and by using or whatever method we have, like Adi Shankara's Nirvana Shatakam or Brahma Gnana Vadi. So basically, so yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot. I mean, that's basically I wanted to tell you. And we have also gone through the Tattva Bodha and Atma Bodha also.
Correct. Ramchandra is helping out in to the mentors in India. He's conducted Tattvabodha sessions for a group of people. Thank you very much, Rama.
Yeah. Thanks, Shagaji. Yeah. So that's what I'm enjoying. I am enjoying a lot. So, but I am in the path. So this is the path, right? I mean, it is not, will not just directly get there until the Turiya state, but slowly the mind. So I'm enjoying because I'm getting the results now. So I'm getting more peaceful, more balanced, and
Thank you.
no
So
conflicts in the
that's a
mind.
that's a great sign of the spiritual signs. Your spiritual study has given you this peace of mind. I'm very happy to hear that.
And people also are actually acknowledging it. I mean, they are saying they feel happy when they meet me at
Yeah.
work, and so yeah, I'm really enjoying. Thank you, thanks a lot
Thank you.
for our
Thank you.
time and
Thank you, Rama.
the classes. Thank you.
Thank you. Shanta, you have a question?
Yes. Um, just, it is very, very difficult to stop commenting about Shamaji. And I would say, Shamaji, it's same thing. My sister compares herself to me. She thinks that I can do study, I'm learning Sanskrit, I'm learning this, and how do you get all this time? And she's struggling. And I tell her, and the only way I can tell her is, okay, you do so many things which I don't do. So our journeys are different. And so we can't compare our journeys. And that is how I put it to her. I said, don't compare your journey with mine, and I shouldn't compare mine with yours. So we all come with our prarabdha karmas, and we have our own journeys. And that is how I tell myself. Now, coming to this one beautiful thing, which actually was partly, I would say, answered by Shekharji, is that Atma chooses to reveal itself to you. And this is actually my question. I'm coming to my question now is as I'm going through this study, I mean, it's my experience, and I'm asking the question based on my experience. As I'm going through these studies, there are so many things I'm getting attracted to, certain things which I feel could be a distraction. Like, for example, it could be when I was learning Bhagavad Gita, and I got suddenly attracted to a video link which I had not even thought of. And I went and saw almost, till morning when my alarm rang. I was watching that about Maharana Pratap. So things have happened, and I couldn't get back to my Bhagavad Gita till I actually finished understanding, learning about Maharana Pratap. So these things do happen in my life. And one thing what has constantly, as I'm doing my meditation, as I'm learning, Bhagavad Gita again and again, and all these Upanishads, uh, what has attracted me or telling me, something is telling me, okay, I don't know, something is telling me I should do a lot of tapa. Okay, something which keeps telling me I should do a lot of tapa, I should do a lot of tapa. So therefore, even when I'm doing surya prarthana in the morning, when I give jala to Surya, I sort of pray to him that give me the ability to do tapa as much as your tapa, that sort of thing. And when last, or I think it was last, or year, I think it was last session, I don't know which one, whether it was Mandukya or Katho Upanishad, you mentioned about the steam coming out of the water. The potential of the steam is there in the water, but till you heat it up, it doesn't come out, right? So it converts itself. So is it that message which keeps telling me that I should do tapa, is it like a transformation, or again I'm in the wrong path of watching Maharana Pratap? Which direction am I?
Oh,
Is
I
my
mean,
question.
see, the thing is that the evolution of each one's mind is very, very different. The way you evolve is very different than way, say, Shama will evolve, Venkatesh will evolve, or So whatever your mind, see, each one's mind gets attracted towards certain aspects of the learning, the teaching, and the teaching can come from any
Please,
direction. You see, it can
please,
come from a video, it can come from
please,
reading a book,
బాబు
it
కూడా
can
అక్కడ
come
లోపల ఉందా
from any of these sources. It can come. So there is no direct answer to your question. Let things happen as they are, and you take it as in your own stride.
Mm. No,
Definitely
but
the
because
path.
it is becoming very, very, I don't know, it feels like I'm getting, it's addiction sort of thing, that whenever I find, say, I'm hungry, just, if I'm doing a vrat and I'm hungry, I have to tell myself, I just tell myself, how will I attain that level of tapa if I can't control my mind on all these things? So I
No, no.
keep on
See,
telling myself,
one thing you should understand is
mm,
tapa also
mm,
means shravanam.
mm,
Tapa doesn't mean always trying to
austerity.
fast and
Yeah.
things like that.
Oh,
It
yeah,
doesn't mean.
austerity. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See, tapa also means doing shravanam, doing mananam,
Mm, mm.
doing whatever you're doing.
Japa.
These,
Yeah. These
yeah,
things.
these
Yeah.
are all different types of tapa only.
Mm,
So tapa is austerity. It is trying to withdraw your mind from the world and going towards Atma. That is the
mm,
final definition
mm,
of tapa. So, in whatever way you can do it, let it
mm.
happen. See,
Okay.
and then the most important tapa is to be on the path of this
Spiritual.
spirituality.
Yeah.
Don't drop away from this learning the Upanishad, because ultimately it is the Upanishads alone will give you moksha.
Give you the, yeah. So
You
no, but I
must
I do
have
I
that
do
full
agree to that,
conviction.
because yeah, because the more I think of this tapa, it just tells me that it is purifying my mind. So every time I listen, I seem to be grasping more. I'm able to concentrate on certain things more. I'm now, picking more things, shall I say, for my notes and understanding it. So I don't know whether that is the purification of mind which is happening as a result of this. I'll just, as you said, take it with a stride and try and see how it goes. Thank you.
Yeah, as you purify, your doubts will get reduced. You will find that automatically happening in your mind.
Mm,
And again, I say there is a lot of knowledge, a spiritual knowledge of this Turiya Atma, which really clarifies your doubts. It is this knowledge of the Upanishad alone will clear the doubts.
mm,
It is the only medicine for the cure of
Q-
for the cure of purity of mind. The
mm,
more you understand the Upanishads, go deeper and dive deeper and deeper, you will find that you are able to suddenly get to the reality which the Upanishad is trying to reveal to you.
mm,
It is the mantra of the Upanishad. It is this Turiya mantra, which is so powerful. See, how do I go deep into my own personality? I can't do anything else in the world. See, karma will not help me at all.
mm,
Any amount of karma I do outside in the world, it is not going to take me deep within myself. It is only jnanam. It
mm,
is only jnana yoga which takes me deeper into my own personality and going inward, and to such an extent I can feel that consciousness in me absolutely without any doubt. That
mm.
is what ultimately will happen to you.
Yeah. No, that
As
is
you
very true.
purify,
Yeah.
this
Mm,
aspect of consciousness
mm.
uh, will grow more and more in your own mind, and you will say, this is ultimate truth.
Mm. No, that this is, I think the transformation or a change is happening because, as soon as I even wake up or feel, awake, wake up in the night or in the morning as everybody gets up, the first thought is, oh my God, what is this Atma? Okay, what happened in the night? These are things which are,
Correct.
how is
These
this
are the
world, this
signs.
projection?
These are the
Is it the
signs will
projection?
tell
Yeah.
you that you're
Mm,
growing in the spiritual spot, in the spiritual field.
mm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanta. Bharat, I don't know whether you have,
Oh, I,
yeah, you want to say
I,
something?
yeah, Shakachi, I do apologize. We're all gonna miss you next week, so you're getting double, triple portions of Q&A. So
It's okay. It's all right.
I just wanted to say to Shantaben that about this I have been studying Advaita Vedanta continuously for the last like 5 years, maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and maybe even more than that on Saturday, Sundays. And I'm constantly listening, re-listening to everything. And yesterday I was listening to Shekaji's Adhyasa Bhasha, Advaita Vedanta, and it everything was going great. But there's one particular verse, I think verse 11, which is where Shankara is talking about the difference between men and animals. That animals will run away from what they fear. They'll go towards something that's attractive, and people are the same, except we have one more complication in that we run towards our thoughts, we run away from our thoughts, but also we run towards something that we desire. So knowledge is one of those things that we desire. And at some point, just like any OCD or addiction, you have to
Yeah.
practice what you preach. You can't
Yes.
just theorize, you have to turn it, as Swami Vivekananda says, turn it into a living reality.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Thank you, Shakaji. That's
Yeah.
all I
Thank
Thank
you,
wanted
you
to
Bharat.
very
say.
much,
Yeah,
Bharatji.
very
Thank
nice.
you.
You put it
Yes.
across very well. Thank you. Okay, so we'll stop here and then I'll catch up with you on the 21st of July, the Sunday. So next week, there's no session. All right. So thank you. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
all the
Dhanyavad.
best. Namaste.
Dhanyavad.
Hari Om.
Shikhaji,
Hari
I
Om.
just
Bye.
wanted to say, I've just concluded this session with Vedanta Jnanam alone will light up the dark corners of our mind, helpful to read our own book of life. So it is actually, it's quite useful that we are all sharing how we are experiencing Vedanta Jnanam. I mean, today's session, I felt everybody is sharing how we're all absorbing Vedanta Jnanam in reference to our own thoughts, how we, but until the Vedanta Jnanam will finally completely possess us, then there shall be no doubt.
And I give you guarantee, you go through the Mandukya Upanishad, you will not have absolutely any doubt. When you come to the fourth chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, you feel as if there is, how come there are still, another 40, 50 verses to describe. I already know what the Upanishad is trying to say. That is the type of feeling you will get.
Wonderful.
I know
Thank
what
you.
the Upanishad is talking about because it reveals to you the truth. You see, the truth is a reality and it is there for ages and it will be there for ages because this knowledge has existed for more than 5,000 years. This knowledge is there coming to us. It is a knowledge which is eternal knowledge. It is talking about an eternal subject matter. And the
True.
moment you are able to connect with that eternal subject matter, you feel so relieved in life. You feel fulfilled in life. You feel as if you have achieved the Nobel Prize available to you in this universe. Okay,
So,
thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Dhanyavad.
Hari Om,
Mohoday.
Shikhaji.
Bye-bye. Hari
Thanks.
Om.
Yeah. Hari Om.
Ayom.
Thank you.